All right, thank you. And welcome to the KPPA quarterly board meeting. First, I'd like to announce that our chair, Mr. Piercy, can't be here today. His father has passed away, so we would like to offer our condolences to his family. May we have the roll call at this time?
Do you want to start with the legal public statement?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Mr. Board.
Yes, sir. This is a regular meeting of the Kentucky Public Pensions Authority. This meeting is being broadcast via video teleconference pursuant to Kentucky Revised Statute Section 61.826 and may be viewed by the public at the Kentucky Public Pensions Authority offices located at 1260 Louisville Road, Frankfort, Kentucky. It is also being broadcast to the public via Facebook. If you are speaking and are not appearing by video, please identify yourself before talking. In the event the video or audio broadcast is interrupted, we will attempt to reestablish a connection. If a connection cannot be reestablished within 30 minutes, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled to another date.
All right, thank you, sir. Now may we have the roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Powell?
Here.
Dr. Hackbart?
Here.
Ms. Hampton?
Here.
Mr. Lane?
Here.
Mr. O'Mara?
Here.
Mr. Piercy? Ms. Pendergrass? Mr. Summers?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. For the record, we have no public comment at this time. So we'll move on to item number 5. This will be for the approval of the minutes for December the 6th and February the 7th. Has anybody got any corrections, alterations, modifications they wish to present? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion that for approval of both the December 6th and February 7th minutes.
So moved.
I
Second.
have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next item will be the KPP audit report and recommendations and the Gasper 6875 proportional share audits. Ms. Coffey, if
Good
you're
morning,
ready.
everyone. Yes. So the audit committee met on February 27th. Most of the meeting was just informational information. That's item number 2 is a summary of the items we discussed. But there was one item, the proportionate share audits that do need action from the board. And I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Gordon and let him go over that, and then we can come back for the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Coffey. So again, my name is Adam Gordon. I'm from the Auditor of Public Accounts Office, and I'm the auditor in charge of the Kentucky Public Pensions Authority Proportionate Share Audit for fiscal year 23. Linda Hinton is the audit manager, and Matt Fry is my executive director. As you may know, the Kentucky Revised Statute requires that we audit KPPA every 5 years. We performed the financial statement audit for 23, and our last audit was in 2018. And as part of that, we also do the proportionate share audit since it's been 5 years. Management is still responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these schedules. The proportionate share schedules report on the cost-sharing retirement plans of employers' share of the liabilities, deferred outflows and inflows, and related expenses for both pension and OPEB. We have audited the schedules prepared by KPPA's actuaries, and we will provide management with 2 reports. So starting on page 24 is the pension report, and then for OPEB is page 120. For both of these schedules, each will include our audit opinion and a government auditing standards letter, also known as the Yellow Book letter. Our end of field work for this audit is planned for today, which is the KPPA board meeting, March 21st. We will release our report once it is approved by this board today. As part of our audit, we were required to communicate to those charged with governance certain topics. A draft of that is on page 15. This letter we will email to the chair of the KPPA Audit Committee and the chair of the full KPPA board, who is then responsible for distributing it to the other board members. We noted no significant unusual transactions, uncorrected misstatements, significant policy changes, or significant difficulties or disagreements with management. We did not note any unusual issues in this letter. At this time, no findings or issues have come to our attention, and we anticipate issuing an unmodified or clean opinion today. Lastly, I would like to thank KPPA's management and staff, the actuaries, everyone involved with this audit and the financial statement audit. You all really helped us make this audit very efficient and effective. So again, thank you all for that. With that, are there any questions?
Just a comment, Adam. I think I said this in the audit committee. I really appreciate the professionalism and the quality of the work that you all did. It's the first time I've worked with the state auditors, and I will say, if everybody was like you and your staff, we have a great place.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. This is a motion. I'll need a motion to approve the shared proportionate for the Gatsby 6875 audit as presented.
So moved.
Okay, we have first, second.
Second.
It's Mr. Summers. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Coffey, we have anything else?
If there were no questions on any of the other items that were discussed, and that was page 14, Sherry, if you want to, if there's no questions, then the audit committee presentation is complete for today.
All right. Any questions? All right. Thank you and your staff, and Mr. Gordon and your staff.
Thank you.
Next item would be the KPPA Ad Hoc Regulations Committee reports and recommendations. This is Carrie Bask and Jessica Bobin. Who's going to take the lead this morning?
Good morning, that'll be me. Okay, so up first, we have the amendment to 105 KAR 1001, and that is our definitions regulation. And so this amendment adds 8 new definitions, and it also updates 2 previous definitions. This just ensures consistent terminology throughout all of our administrative regulations. And the board or the committee did approve presenting this to the board. Do we have any questions on this one? Okay, I think we usually vote on them individually, separately. So do we need to do that before moving to the next one?
We can do it individually if you prefer. All right. I will entertain a motion to approve the KAR 105 KAR 10001.
So moved.
Okay, Lynn. Okay. Was that Pruitt first?
I was there.
Okay. I was going by who was lit up on the screen. Thank you. Have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, on to the next one.
Okay, up next we have, make sure I have these in the right order. Yeah, 190, yes. This is an update, also an amendment to an existing regulation for qualified domestic relations orders or quadros. In this amendment, we have updated the language throughout for consistency with all of our regulations and also for those definitions found in 001. We've also reorganized this regulation to get better flow and clarity. We've incorporated the partial lump sum payment option and how that is available through quadros into the regulation. We've added details on how multiple retirement counts are affected by quadros. We've added details to more accurately reflect the way that we actually process quadros and how we're currently administering those. And then also we have updated all of the forms incorporated by reference in this regulation. Again, the committee also approved this regulation as is to be presented here to the board for filing approval. Do we have any questions on this one?
Hearing none. I'll entertain a motion to approve 105 KR 1 colon 190 as presented.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Lane, second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. O'Mara. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now the next one.
Okay, and this is our last one. And so we do have another amendment to an existing regulation, and that is 1:411. This is the regulation that involves the administration of hospital and medical insurance benefits provided to members of the systems. In this amendment, we also updated the language throughout to be consistent with other KPPA regulations and the definitions regulation. We added details in section 4 to indicate the difference between the dollar amount contribution rate and the percentage contribution rate that the systems pays towards those insurance plan premiums based on membership date or hire date, depending on when you fall. We've added clarity to section 5 concerning the fees that are paid for tobacco usage or failure to complete the wellness or well-being promise. And then we updated section 13 after the committee meeting to reflect the committee's recommendations regarding the calculations of the dollar contribution reimbursement plan. The committee did recommend reimbursement option 2 that is found in a separate document attached here that outlines both the current reimbursement, way we reimburse that, and then the proposed reimbursement options. And the committee, again, all recommended option 2 on that. And so we did go ahead and update that language. We do need board approval, full board approval for that option, and also for the regulation itself for filing.
Any questions on that? Okay, hearing none, then I'll entertain motions to accept the committee's recommendation for option 2 and 105 KR 1:411 as presented at this meeting, and also to direct the staff to file all 3 of these regulations with the regulations compiler at LRC. So I will take that motion, accept a motion for that.
So moved.
Okay, Dr. Hackbert, second.
Second.
Ms. Hampton, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Bowden?
No, that is everything. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to item number 8, the quarterly financial statements. Mr. Lamb.
Thank you. We are on page 365. 365. Your numbers changed on me a little bit, Sherry. That's okay. You'll see at the bottom of Q2 the fiscal year 2024 fiduciary net position is $17.955 billion. That's up 14.81% for the when comparing to the prior period of 15.639. This is $2.3 billion higher. It's driven by the overall increase in investments at fair value, which are 17.56% higher, or 2.5 billion than they were 1 year ago. This is specifically in the public equities investment asset class, which is up 20.02%. If we move to the next page and we look at the statement of changes, And right above that big blue area, you'll see that the increase in fiduciary net position so far is 1.015 billion, which is 624 million more than the prior year amount of 391 million. Through Q2 of fiscal year 24, all of the retirement plans received $1.4 billion in contributions, and they paid out $1.25 billion in benefits, refunds, and admin expenses. That's $147 million cash flow gain. In the same period in the prior year, there was an $87 million cash flow gain. And the net investment income for the period for the pension plans is $868 million compared to $304 million in the prior period. If we page down to the contribution reports, you can see the C plans here, and I'll give a brief little statement on them. The yellow line shows that the C non-hazardous plan and the C hazardous plan reported a positive net contribution of $50 million and $53.5 million respectively for the 6 months ended 12/31. If we remove the net investment income of $102.4 million and 36.6 million for both plans, we can see in the bottom chart that the net contribution is negative $52.4 million for the non-hazardous plan and positive $16.9 million for the hazardous plan. The contribution reports for the K plans are on the next page, and it shows that the 3 plans reported positive net contributions of $222.7 million, $25.2 million, and $11.3 million respectively. If we remove the net investment income of $54.2, $12.5, and $9.4 million, the bottom chart shows that all 3 plans have positive net cash flow for the period: 168.5, 12.7, and 1.9 million. The next set of statements are the insurance funds, and near the bottom of this page, you can see the KPPA fiduciary net position at the end of Q2 for 24 is $7.6 billion. That's up 12.78% from the prior period of $6.7 billion. This is $785 million higher and is driven by the overall increase in investments at fair value, which are also up 14.78%. And that's specifically in the public equities investment asset class, which is up 17.83% or $556 million. The statement of changes for the insurance plans show the change with the increase in fiduciary net position for this 6-month period is $345 million, and in the prior year it was $122 million. Through Q2, the insurance plans have received $130 million in contributions and paid out $164 million in healthcare premiums. That's a $33 million cash flow loss. Prior year was a $30 million cash flow loss. The net investment income for the period is $379 million compared to $153 million in the prior year. The contribution reports for the C plans, which is 1 page down, maybe 2 pages, there we go, for these insurance plans show positive net contribution of $8.4 million for the C hazards, and the C hazardous plan showed negative 14.6 for the period. Taking out the investment income, you can see the bottom chart has cash flow net contributions are minus 30.4 million and minus 32.6 million. That again is because most of the employer contributions are lower because the plans are fully funded. For the K plans, the net contributions for the 3 plans reported positive net contributions of 57.8.4 million and 1.9 million. If we remove the net investment income of 20.1 million, 7.4 million, and 3.1 million, the K hazardous and the state police plans have a negative cash flow for the period of minus 6.9 and minus 1.2 million, whereas the K non-hazardous plan remains positive at 37.7 million. That's what I have on the statements. Before we move on, any questions on those? Okay, The next statement is invoices that are outstanding. And looking at the 12/31/2023 grand total of $9 million, that's 19% or $1.4 million higher than the September 30th amount of 7.6 million. The increase is due to a couple things. The AALC amounts directly attributable to Kentucky River Community Care. They continue to not pay the AALC invoices, which are $120,000 a month. So that's $363,000 a quarter. That continues to increase for that entity. In addition to that, we've had a few other agencies that have sick leave billings that were created due to retirements that have yet to be paid. So that's Department of Highways, and I think there was another one, Department of Community-Based Services, had an increase there as well. The 3 stars by some of those top 10 employers indicate that the invoices have been turned over to legal for further action. Some of them are in litigation, but not all of them. They're listed there. And then if you page down to the penalty invoice report, this shows that the invoices that we've come across during the quarter, we had 12 penalty invoices that were waived. That totaled $24,000. We had 37 penalty invoices that were created for $27,000 for the quarter, and 41 penalty invoices were paid for a total of $49,000 for the quarter. That's the invoice statements. I think what I have left is admin. If there's no questions there, I can move to admin. So the admin budget's been presented to both the C and the K boards, as well as the C Finance Committee. So all I'm going to do here is review this high-level summary statement, as well as the notes that are presented there. And basically, through half the year, we've spent $17 million in the personnel staffing category. That's approximately 49% of the budget and 4% higher than the prior year. In legal, we have nearly 52% of the legal budget remaining. We spent close to 90% of our budget for Frost Brown Todd. The legal hearing officer line item is over budget by $36,000, and we have about 26% left to spend. We are under budget in other line items within the legal category. Our auditing line item, our actual audit invoice was $215,000, which was $30,000 below budget. We do anticipate a $30,000 invoice for the proportionate share audits that were just approved today. But overall, we think we'll be under budget in the audit line item for the year. And then actuarial, medical, and other are all below budget for the first half of the year. And our operational total is overall under budget, driven by the following items: utilities, rent, printing, postage, and travel. Any questions on the admin budget? The detail is on the next page if you would like to examine that, but I won't go over the detail. And then I think the last thing I have is at the bottom, the JP Morgan Chase earnings credit, which we are no longer doing as of October. We are now doing hard-earned interest on all of our accounts, and you can see the interest that's been earned in that bottom chart for each month, as well as the fees for each month are up above their average, about $7,500 a month in total. That's my presentation for today.
All right, thank you very much. This was for informational purposes, so no action will need to be taken by the board. Next item, number 9, will be Mr. Lamb again. This time we're talking about budget planning.
Correct. So in the past couple years, we've developed a budget work group that's worked with staff, as well as there's been a couple trustees on there and CEOs in reviewing and approving the admin budget, as well as the investment budget. And last year we made the proposal for the KBUD submission that is still being debated in the Senate today, actually. But this memo here is basically my recommendation to define a KPPA budget work group, to make recommendations to the full KPPA board, and If we do that, we can talk about if we want to do that again this year. Any thoughts, concerns, questions?
It seemed to work pretty good previously. Of having that, does anybody have any thoughts?
I have a question. I think I know the answer, but does the work group have to be from KPPA or can it be from KRS and CERS that aren't on KPPA?
You know, I'm going to let Mr. Board answer that. I know that the KPPA board is responsible for allocating expenses to the C and K plans based on however they determine that to be. So, I mean, I have my own opinion. I think KPPA can choose to form a work group however they choose to, but I don't know if it has to be members of the KPPA board. I'll let Michael
This
elaborate.
is this group that is conducting this work is not it is not set up or ordered to be created by statute, by regulation, by policy. It is something that um, has been chosen to be set up by the KPPA board. The KPPA board has by statute. The KPPA board has this obligation. Um, my recommendation is because it is the obligation of the KPPA board that the KPPA board um, would assign, if they're not going to do it as a whole and they're going to assign it to a subgroup of itself, that they restrict it to the KPPA members to be part of that. That would be my recommendation because statutorily it is not the obligation of KRS or CERS, but the obligation of KPPA.
Thank you, Michael.
That answer your question there, Ms. Hampton?
And I would, and Mr. Lamb, if I could here, I know this question hasn't come up, but in my role, I would be remiss if I didn't speak to this here at this moment as we are dealing with this. I know this question has been asked in a different setting, and my staff has done some pretty extensive research on this topic. And the outcome of that research has been that this group conducting this work in this setting with the charge that it is given to do this type of work would in fact be subject to the Open Meetings Act and need to conduct the meetings in which it does this work in a public setting. We've spent a lot of time researching this, looking at quite a bit of case law, a lot of open meetings decisions from the Attorney General's office, trying to synthesize those. And what I can tell you is that based on an opinion of the Attorney General from 1994, there's a 4-part test that you run these questions through. The work of this group, even though it's titled as a budget work group, the work of this group and how it's set up meets all 4 elements of that test. And when you start to dig in further and analyze that, there's no factor that outweighs one or the other. It is truly just a large trying to synthesize all these factors as one. And when you read the various AG opinions that have come from 94 up until present time that factor together all of these considerations, when you think you might have a clear grasp on how things should go, a different attorney general comes into office and issues an opinion that goes a different direction. And you go, okay, I don't know which factors matter more than the other factors any longer because this new attorney general has issued an opinion going a different way than I thought it should go as I'm reading the opinion. And so with that, I've told many of the trustees before, when there's a very close call on those issues, my recommendation will be to take a conservative approach because I want to not have the agency, an allegation that the agency violated the Open Meetings Act. I don't want to have to defend the agency in that regard and then lose that defense and have a finding that the agency violated that. So if it's a close call, if it's not a clear-cut call, that will be my recommendation to the agency is to take a more conservative approach if there's not a clear-cut line there. So as we're setting this up again, and as my staff was asked to kind of dig into that a little further, I wanted to bring that to the board's attention here.
Michael, from my standpoint, in my office, that doesn't concern me at all.
Okay.
It may others, but that doesn't concern me.
Mr. Board, would you feel more comfortable with it just being a budget ad hoc committee?
I mean, that's
As
essentially
opposed to-
that's essentially what it is. No matter what we call it, that is essentially what it is. Whatever title we put on it, that's what it is. All of the meetings would be special meetings with having to give 24 hours notice. Post that, that is some staff time that goes into it. I mean, Sherry's time having to do that work to get it posted, the IT staff time to be available to broadcast that if that's what we do, and do all those things. So there is staff time associated with that, going that way. But yes, Mr. Powell, you're right. That is essentially an ad hoc, is what it becomes.
Yeah. And I think instead of calling it a working group, make it an ad hoc, would clarify that in any paperwork from this point forward. Is there any thoughts from everybody, any of the board members, about whether we should have this budget ad hoc, or is there thoughts about going a different direction?
Is there a clear definition of a working group, or is that just an ad hoc definition? I mean, assumption of what it means?
Yeah, there is no definition of a working group. You look through all the AG opinions on this topic, and it all comes down to what work the group is doing defines what it is. And so it is truly a case-by-case detailed analysis that you have to look into, and whether it meets that 4-part test that's outlined. And so there really is no way. You can't call it something and then make it be that. You have to look at the purpose it was formed, what it's charged with doing, and those sorts of things to determine that.
So whether you call it ad hoc group or working group, it's still subject to the open records.
You have to run it through the test to see if it is.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
I see Mr. Chilton has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Who can be on this committee? Is only trustees from KPPA?
That was Ms. Hampton's question, and that was my recommendation, was that because the statute empowers KPPA to do this, that my recommendation is that it is, if the board members come from KPPA, it is the presence of the members of KPPA that throws this into that world. If KPPA were to delegate this work to staff did this work and brought it back to the KPPA without the presence of the board members as part of the work group, we don't have this problem. Even the presence of the CEOs don't create the problem, because the CEOs are not board members, they're not trustees. It is truly the presence of the board members, the trustees, as part of this working group that kick it over into even having to run it through the test to then determine whether it does meet the definition to be subject to the Open Meetings Act. So, if the board saw fit to delegate it to staff, we avoid all this altogether. If the board wants to have, a trustee, 2 trustees from KPPA as part of this, then that is where we have to run the analysis that we've run and came up with this conclusion.
Who appoints people to ad hoc committee? Is that an audit committee that does that?
To this budget work group, as we've called it, in the past, to my knowledge, it's just they've been volunteers, or the KPPA chair has just asked if who's willing to do it, and put someone from CERS, a KPPA board member from CERS and KRS on that committee. I could be wrong. Miss Rebecca may know more than I do about that.
Michael, if
I
I may, the bylaws indicate that the board chair or the executive director can make appointments.
And I think it's traditionally been the chair. Jerry, did we have a budget committee before last year?
Yes, yeah, it's historically it's been done by the board chair, but it also has been people for volunteering, and then the chair appoints them to that committee, whether it be the budget or joint health, any committees for any of the boards, whether it be CK or the KPPA board.
Seems like the present model is working, just a matter of having open records as opposed to the current operations. Isn't that basically where we are at?
Yes. I just mentioned what I mentioned in case there was a desire to do it differently. That was the only reason I mentioned that. If there's a desire to keep it how it is, then Mr. Hackbart, Dr. Hackbart, you are exactly right.
And I would concur with Dr. Hackbart.
Me too.
And just to take it a step further, I wouldn't be appointing anybody to the board at this time. I would postpone that to a later date to when Mr. Pierce, who is the chair, could appoint those positions if that's the action the board wishes to take.
Well, maybe it's a point of order. I don't know if it's true or not, but there's a time factor in getting this started if we go this direction. I'm not sure we can wait till the next board meeting to appoint. Am I right on that, Mike?
Well, you don't have to be at an open meeting for him to appoint. He can just appoint whoever he wants when he wants to the board.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion, Jerry, that might work out. Number one, we also have an election in April, so there's potential for the board makeup changing. Second
Correct.
is we do have a committee right now, and at least a few of those people are likely to continue. So we could just say the last year's committee gets started, and then in April, if we have a new committee, just turn the work over. But that at least is in this direction.
Yeah, and you're breaking up a little bit. At least for me, it was. Yeah, I agree that I just didn't want to throw the current members of that committee under the bus without talking to them. But if they're willing to volunteer and step up until the new board committee could get appointed, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Until
Mike, I think if we had an ad hoc group, a work group or an ad hoc committee last year for the purpose of last year's, I think it was done by the time they reported to the board. So I think you could say that the folks who served last year, are you willing to serve again until something is appointed? But I don't think that actually exists, right? There is no current version. I just want to make that small distinction. Michael,
Okay.
is that correct? If that's correct.
That is correct, yes.
All right, with the current board or current committee members or working group committees be willing to continue on until such time that other members can be appointed.
I'm willing until replaced. Okay.
Okay.
Same answer here.
I think Betty was a member. Was Keith a member?
No, it was just the two of you last year. The year before that, it was Mr. Lane and Mr. O'Meara. It was just one trustee from each. We were avoiding quorums and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. So I thank you all for continuing to serve until such time that Mr. Piercy can appoint other members, and I appreciate that. So
I
with
think
that
we
being
also, I'm sorry, Jerry, we also
Go.
need to understand clearly that you guys want your CEOs involved in this as well. That's how it's been for the last 2 years, and I presume that you wanted it, but I think we need to hear you say it out loud, please.
It simply makes sense.
Is there any objection, or should we have a vote on that to include them? Mr. Board?
I don't know if you need a vote.
Okay,
but
just a consensus.
yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. Again, just to have that on the record that that is what that this board wants the CEOs from each system to be involved in that.
I'm sorry, and usually the executive director as well. My apologies.
Okay. Mr. Eager's got his hand up.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge that that group put a lot of time in and did a great job. This is it's a big demand on their part, so I'm thanking for their effort.
When you look at what Mr. Lamb just presented, they've done an excellent job of forecasting the expenses, because we're right where we should be, and so I think they've done a very admirable job of making a reasonable and accurate budget. So
Jerry, if
I would want to thank you all.
Jerry, if I could, I'd like to amend that you were very good at proving what Mike gave to us. he did the work.
Well, the whole group did an excellent job, because it just wasn't one part. You know, granted, he may have been may carry the load, but you know, you all discussed and worked hard to get to this point. So I think all of you deserve accolades for the work that you've done and the commitment that you've made. With that being said, is there a motion to continue on and create this budget committee that will work regarding development of budget items and make a recommendation to the full KPPA board? Can I get that as a motion? Motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. And a second from Mr. Summers. Any more discussion? And also, as I said, I'm going to leave the appointments up to Mr. Piercy once he returns. And with that being said, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone.
Anything else, Mr. Lamb?
No, sir.
All right. I appreciate your efforts here today. The next item will be item number 10 on the agenda, if you're following it. This will be the investment department update. It says here Mr. Wheeler, but he is not here. Today we're lucky to have with us Mr. Anthony Chu, who's going to provide our briefing.
Yes, hi everybody. We can keep it pretty short. A lot of you guys were on these meetings. This is just a summary of the investment committee meetings we've had so far in 2024. The main points are that the K plan has approved an investment with Saba Capital in the real return space and then also they have approved some changes to their asset allocation, which will allow the KMDS plans to achieve a similar rate of return with less risk, given that interest rates have gone significantly higher in the past year or so. And then the other part of this report just talks about the performance of the first half of the fiscal year has been quite strong, driven by a broad rally across the markets, especially the last 2 or 3 months of calendar 2023. So I would say regular stocks were up almost 8 or 9%, and they coming back from a deficit of -5 after 1 quarter. And that's continued so far in calendar year 24. Again, stocks are broadly up almost 8 to 10% as of today, and credits and fixed income are also up mostly, although some core fixed income is down with rates. So, so any questions? That's basically what we have here.
Keep it up.
Okay, thank you.
No, well, you're correct. You made that short and sweet. Thank you very much. Next item will be the KPPA update. Mr. Eager.
Yes, you got in the board books a written update that was authored a bit ago. I was going to say, if people have questions, I'm happy to take it. I will make a couple of comments first, though. It was noted in there that there are tentatively additional appropriations coming to K-Non-Has. There's also some discussion about state police. It's a very fluid time right now, so it's hard to say what actually is going to happen, but it would appear that we're going to be, again, now for the fourth and fifth year, get additional appropriations over and above the arc for K-Non-Has and for state police. We are closely monitoring House Bill 99, which is our housekeeping bill. And as a reminder, we got to the 1 foot line last year and we couldn't cross the goal. And we're trying to avoid that happening again. It passed the House 94-0. But we're getting into the period of time we're getting a little anxious to get the support we need from the Senate and from leadership, and we are actively working on that. The issue of COLAs has been a very hot topic. There is a bill, House Bill 20, that's going to increase the retiree payments by 2% on kind of going forward. It doesn't compound, but it's set again. If somebody's getting $2,000 a month, they'll get $2,040 a month, or continuing going forward. So there's some relief from the COLA side. But again, if anybody has questions, I'd be happy to take them. Jerry, you run a good meeting.
Thank you. I appreciate that information. Anything else you'd like to add, sir? Or anybody got any questions? Mr.
One
O'Mara?
clarification. One clarification with your comment, Dave. On the COLA, that's the K plans. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
And state police. There is no provision for and as you know, that the C, if there was any kind of an adjustment, that would have to flow through the contribution rate.
Also, David, is that a one-time?
It's a one-time, but it steps it up by 2%. So it'll stay 2% higher. It just won't compound. Like a traditional COLA, it compounds.
Right.
But that has not passed either. Everything is still in limbo, correct?
Yeah, and we're getting down to the end, so it's hard to. All we can say is there is a bill and it has gone. I'm not sure on the status on House Bill 20. I think it has passed the House. Rebecca, I don't know you recall from Sean's, but I think it has.
Yeah, I think it's just not gone very far in the Senate.
Yeah.
Mr. Powell, if it's okay with you, I had a couple other things that Dave had asked me to update you guys on. Two of the responsibilities of this board is to hire an external auditor and to hire an actuary to serve all the plans. Because we're at the end of the biennium, all those contracts are expiring 6/30. We are in the process of renewing both of those contracts. So for external auditor Blue & Co. and for actuary Gabriel Roeder Smith. Just giving you that update gives you an opportunity to give me direction. If you've got it, you can offer that later if you wish, or give it to me now. But those contracts are both up. The other exciting announcement that we've had recently that Aaron asked us to share with you is that Humana and Baptist Health have been able to come to agreement so that the Baptist medical group is back under in-network. So that, as you all are very aware, has been a huge issue for our members, not for cost. because of the contract, they weren't having to pay any extra because they were out of network, but it certainly caused concern and questions. So that has been resolved. So as of April of 2024, they are back in network with Humana.
On those two contracts, do we have to have a bidding process, or can we still just continue with those providers after
For
renewal?
the actuary and the auditor?
Yes.
In this particular case, we have renewals on both of those. So we do not have to go to bid yet.
That was my question also. Probably everybody else on the board. Anything else?
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't require board vote, but we're just advising of our action because it's a pretty meaningful step.
Yeah, it's good to know that it's just a renewal and not the full bidding process. It makes it a little easier on everybody.
The bidding process, we would have to start in the fall generally because of the length of time it takes us to get there. So in order to have people in place come July 1, we would start those in the fall.
Mr. O'Meara has his hand up again.
Yes, in those renewals, is it at the same cost or are those renegotiated?
They are generally renegotiated as needed. So we're working with both. Well, Mike's working with Blue & Company and I'm working with GRS on what their desires are. We're pushing back. We're trying to get the best price. We're certainly looking at what other entities are paying as well. But
and of course, after all this is the dust settles, then I'll be coming back to the board to let them know and take action if needed.
I don't think you have to vote on that, but we will absolutely keep you updated. Absolutely.
If it was needed.
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions about any of the update material? Okay, here now, do we have any new business? I hear nothing else. That being said, we're now to number 13, which is going to be a closed session. And the closed session, upon if this is approved, will be for the trustees only. This would be based on the request by council that only trustees be present in the closed session with the exception of just a couple of staff members, which would be from our legal staff members. So I will now entertain a motion that we go into closed session to discuss pending litigation.
So
I have a first. How about a second?
I'll second that.
First by Ms. Hampton, second by Mr. Lane. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. A motion had been made in open session to move into closed session for a specific purpose, and such motion had been carried by a majority vote in open public session. The board is now to enter a closed session to consider litigation matters pursuant to KRS 61.810, subsection 1, subsection 3. Closed session is necessary because of necessity of protecting the confidentiality of the KPPA litigation strategy and preserving any available attorney-client privileges. So, Mr. John, when let us know when we are clear,